Good evening, traders, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. The ticker symbol is SMH, and we're going to do some live TA and make this more educational than normal because I'm seeing some interesting things in here that I really want to kind of coach on and explain because they could very well materialize to point and lead us to believe that we are near a very local top in the SMH and looking to pull back. So here's kind of what I'm seeing. So if we zoom in really closely, we can see we have the previous all-time high right here at 283. Now we had a candle close above that just ever so slightly back on last Thursday. Then we came back in, okay, we closed back underneath it. So, and we never confirmed that candle. So now we came back into it, we closed below it, so that resets. Now we had a candle that closed through it, and then we had a confirming candle here. So what does that mean? That means that we now establish this horizontal line, previous all-time high, as support until proven otherwise. And we can expect a pullback to this, at least at a very minimum, to retest it. But I want to show you what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart that leads me to believe that we might have a local top and we might get that pullback here and we might even break through it. And I'll show you something on the larger time horizon that's making me think that. So we have a topping tail here on this chart on the 4-hour, right? And we have the topping tail 4-hour high sitting at 287.84. The reason that's important is because you can see in the subsequent 4-hour candles, we never had a candle close above that high. not a single one. So let me zoom in and show you that. So that's super important because that means that topping tail is essentially still intact and would indicate and point towards a decline in price, right? So you see it never closed above it. Now in the after hours, it looks like we're trying to close above it right now, but we never had a normal 4-hour candle. So we'll see how this one pans out. This may reject as well. And then if we get that, I mean, you can expect a pullback at a very minimum to 283 and potentially beyond. And I'm going to show you why I think that it might be beyond that. So now we're going to go to the daily chart. Okay, and today you had kind of this hanging man candle and go back. So what do we have here? We have bearish divergence on the daily, and we have 3 touch points that are bearish. So you have lower lows, lower highs on the RSI, and you clearly have higher highs on the price, which means that's bearish divergence. So based on that, whenever we see 3 and then we're coming up to touch a 4th, that's pretty strong. So that's indicating that, you know, relative strength is rolling over and we're likely going to move down into it. Now, the other reason I say this is because look at this massive move we've had, right? If you've been a market participant as of late, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We rallied from 170 all the way up to about 287. Now, if you take the biggest incline without a pullback in history, it was probably this one right here. So let's do let's just do a measured move. I mean, I look back, I'm pretty sure this was the one. So you take that, you run that up to here, and what do we have? We overthrew it. So even then, it wasn't, this is the largest one, right? So that's a measured move, that whole thing, that of the largest one we ever had in history. So I liked to use that as a reference point just to kind of gauge where we're at. Now that doesn't mean anything. It just means that this has been ultimately the largest price gain without a pullback, right? And that's clear as day now that you kind of look at that. Also, look at this, right? We haven't had, I mean, no, not a single one. You had this bullish consolidation, then you had this bullish consolidation, then you had this bullish consolidation. And I left these lines on here because that was X marks the spot, right? So that was converging resistance, and we went right through it, consolidated into it, and then they gapped us up. And then you can see kind of what happened and what unfolded. So, you know, we're way overstretched relative to the 20-day, to the 150-day. So, you know, we do need a pullback into it. So what am I seeing in terms of where is this coming back at first? Well, the first level, obviously, clear as day, we talked about is $283. So, that's going to be the pullback here. Now, do we pull back here and just follow through? In which case, what we'd be looking for is we would look for a close under 283 and then a confirming candle close below that, and that will cement the fact that we just overthrew here to a new all-time high and we're going lower. If we stay above this and don't close and confirm below, then there's a good chance we're going higher. But based on kind of what the market's doing, if you look at the QQQs in particular, same kind of thing. We have some bearish divergence going on here. We're into the top of this parallel, guys. This is super, super important. So we're at the very, very top. Let's just fix this a little bit, make sure these lines are good. So we're into the very top of this parallel. We hit it back here, kissed it again, came back through the median line and came back up. So, without a pullback, we are literally into the top of this thing. So that's why the market's being so kind of stubborn up here, is because we're fighting this parallel. So we have that going for us there. And then just if you kind of look at it, you got here you got this RSI just kind of falling down. Bearish divergence there. These are my levels, these lines here. But same kind of thing. We're so above the moving averages. And the way we just went through this, pretty interesting, right? Interesting stuff. So let's go back to the SMH and kind of give you a feel for where I think this is going, like I said. So really depends on what's going to happen here. Are we going to consolidate in a bullish consolidation and go higher? Or are we going to fall back in and start moving down back into the 20-day and then ultimately down into the 150-day? Only time will tell. We will see. So yeah, so that's kind of what I have for you on the SMH. Again, no financial advice given, always for educational purposes, and I'm just showing you kind of how I see the charts. And like I said, in this one, really hoping to kind of teach the importance of the confirmation candle, because it really does help you avoid fake outs and things of that nature. So, my screen just went off. Let's just see if this pops back on. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's go back to my chart. Interesting. I don't know how that's going to look on video. But I'll remind everyone to please give me some love and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, especially if you value content like this, educational content, as well as opportunities in the market as they present themselves. I'm doing my best to bring them to you in real time to ensure that we're all taking advantage of this market and making a lot of money. That's what it's about, guys. So until the next one, catch you then. Take care, guys. Bye.